As we noticed, reporting services has some problems. So we have to make some modifications to the cube. These modifications are not harmful. Factually, they add some transparency to the cube. So let's take a look at the 3 modifications being made at the cube. So in here we have the key performance indicator shown, and it consists of multiple calculated measures. So I changed it. I changed the ratio taking place, which referred to the properties, into calculated measures, and the constant, the 1% goal, has been changed into a calculated measure as well. So you will notice these at the calculation tab. The goal value of 1%. Finally, another problem within reporting services has been reading the URL. So the URL expression, I copied it to a separate calculated measure as well. It's stored in the reseller sales measure group. We can easily pick the URL as a field out of there within our reporting services report. And here we have the key performance indicators. Once again. And you will notice the calculated measure. So let's take a look at the modifications within our report. Our report consists of a gauge, and next to the gauge we have an indicator. The aim of the gauge is to display the negative sales against the realized sales. So the scale property has to be set. So let's take a look at the scale property. We have a minimum and a maximum. And I refer to the maximum to the percentage multiplied by the reseller sales amount. For instance, when we sell 4 million, 40,000 will be the 1% boundary shown at the display. Next to this, we want to show the negative sales. So I refer to the data quality sales amount, which calculates the negative sales within our data set and is shown as a pointer of the gauge. Next to our gauge we have the indicator. So the indicator is a flash, is a fast visualization which shows us whether we can trust the data dependent on the negative sales indicator. We'll do some slight modification in here. The tooltip value. So the tooltip is what you notice when you click at the indicator, which shows the boundary, which is 1%, and is taken from the cube. And we have the limits, the green traffic light and red traffic light, which refer to the goal value as well. So all of this will be calculated dynamically. This is the actual percentage it will find. And the level of influence, which also refers to the percentage, so to the ratio, which is calculated in a separate calculated field. This tablix, this is a separate tablix, refers to the granular level and shows all negative sales transactions, which we can toggle by the above tablets. Here we have the sales amount value of the negative transactions, and we can, as you will notice over here, the visibility. It will be toggled by the text box of the above tablets. From our sales, we can jump to the client application, and this refers to URL, which is dynamically built within the cube and depends on the sales order number. So in here we notice we have an influence of 0.77%. For instance, we pick Germany, we take all resellers, and we notice the influence is 0%. As another example, we'll take Canada. A slight change of 0.12%, and we can click through to the negative transactions. And let's go back to Australia. We'll notice the transactions, and we can easily click through to our client application. So there are some other interesting things you can do. A gauge can refer to a combination of indicators. So you can extend your data set with multiple key performance indicator outcomes and build multiple indicators within your report, which refer to the separate key performance indicators. And this will allow us to gain a global view of our data quality, as we can refer to multiple indicators at the same time, which reflect changes within our report. And our gauge can reflect the total impact of all these separate indicators. Conclusion: analysis services can serve as a single logic containing several disparate clients, so we only need to tweak the logic at one place and multiple clients can profit from it. Excel is grab and go. When you define KPI and URL properties, it just will imminently take it, just like many other tools. And when using reporting services, you should decompose your calculations as much as possible. And with actions, you also need to specify a calculated measure, for instance, which we've seen with the URL action. Usage. This demo has been using Office 2013. The same functionality will be given in 2010 and 2007. Further on, we use SQL Server 2008 or 2, but you can also use 2005. You should be aware of SQL Server reporting services, which has a different way of work when it comes to gauges and indicators. Outlook, future outlook. Nowadays we have SQL Server 2012. It contains data quality services version 2. There's a knowledge base, there's a domain base, all kinds of interesting stuff you can do. We didn't talk about storing feedback. That's an interesting subject. How can we store feedback given so we don't need to re-inquire at a person about the same data? And finally, we can talk about the new analytic mode, which is the tabular mode, the model, and we can look after whether we can realize the same functionality within the tabular or Power Pivot mode. So these are very interesting subjects for a future session. I would like to thank you for joining this session. It's been hosted by Intelliflex. You can find me at my mail address, which is johan@intelliflex.info, if you have any further inquiries.